Alright, alright. Rayquaza. Alright. Infamous FAF Live better. And we're off to the races. Game 1 of the semifinals. Yudi versus Grimplex. Both players won a lot of games to get here. Yudi taking Silent Noob out. Grimplex taking Turn out. Both of them fighting their way through groups. Grimplex was an especially difficult group.
You still have the Discord's screen sharing.
That's fine. Get rid of it later. Alright. Bets are starting to be more sane. This is good. And we're already seeing the double P-Gen with Aeon from Grimplex into single P-Gen.
Wait, what's going on? Why is there UEF versus Aeon on Casey Rush? What's happening?
It's rather unclear, actually. Aurora exists?
No, that's not an argument. Auroras
not.
are awful.
They are. I really don't know. Farms, you explain to me what's going on here.
Okay, so first of all, what's important to realize is that Crazy Backtrack is gonna end up being played quite a bit differently than the normal Crazy Rush, because the issue with normal Crazy Rush is that you have so little area and so much mass that you literally have to fight over the area to make your stuff, right?
Yes.
Like you have to factory creep your opponent, because you can't make them like around your base because everything is full with other stuff, with your eco and whatnot. But in this case, that's nowhere near that's not the case at all. Like you have so much room. I mean, you don't have infinite, but you have way more than enough room to make everything you want to. It's like below, south and north of their bases.
What is
so
this tank?
There's not going to be any of that of those issues.
Why is there a second tank from Yudi? Please explain. Seems just terrible.
No.
No.
I mean, there's generally 3 different things you can do. One of them is you go greed, which is 2 pigeons first. It's like the most greediest BO that you can do. The second one is you go to complete opposite. That is basically either max into factory or factory first. Julius issues idle. I'm not sure if that's intentional.
He's busy microing this tank.
Like the aggressive, and the third is like somewhere in between.
Alright, there's no tank out from Grimplex. He knows this tank is here, and he's just gonna walk forward at it.
Like this tank killed an engineer. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Simply because.
Alright.
Like it's worth it, and I'm actually surprised he's still not building a tank. I'm not sure if this was worth it because it didn't force a tank to be built. That's actually the right move from Gameplex. He just doesn't like care about the tank at all.
It's like, cool, you killed an NG. That's a you problem.
Yeah. What is important though is like Yudi has the initiative. He's gonna have his air factory up faster. Like he is the one that will have the intel, and early intel on Crazy Rush is important because of one thing, that's bombers. I'm very surprised Gameplex doesn't have an air factory yet. Like you have to go at the very least towards air.
He's not. He doesn't believe in it. He's just getting 3 NG factories. Like these are just engineers. He doesn't care about air. Bombers aren't real. They can't hurt him. He's gonna get all his NGs nice and clumped up in a line.
Like this bomber is gonna do a lot of damage, and at the same time, like he doesn't have. Okay, first Aurora's out now, but like look at this bomber. It's just
no split. Where's the split? Oh god, that's 5 kills right off the bat. And there's no A.
But the game is over.
GG, well played. I mean, he's got 3 NG factories, which maybe he can scale his way out of this. I haven't looked at Yudi's base. Oh god,
it's the same.
Another one. It's got vet. It's about to vet again. Bomber just leaves.
Barely survives, but it's still force 2 MAA. He's actually building a third MAA. He's like he forgot to cancel it, and now there's the issue. Yeah, Grimplex is overflowing E. He is 900 mass in storage. He doesn't have the build power.
Alright, Bomber does get taken down. Bit too greedy on the turn there.
This is the reason why you might make an early tank or something, right? if you don't go for double pigeon first, there is a moment, like if you go pigeon factory or max factory, where you will stall E or mass. You just have too much build power to properly like balance it, right? So at that point, it's like, why don't you just make a tank instead of an extra engineer that will make you stall anyway, and you are gonna be aggressive with the tank, and you're gonna try to do damage with it. So that's the reasoning behind that quick tank.
And
like,
it worked
you will
out,
stall anyway
I guess.
Otherwise.
Well, I mean,
Even
really,
if
the bomber worked out.
Yeah, but even if the tank doesn't work out, you still make it because that extra engineer is, it's not really gonna do much for you because you're gonna stall regardless.
Grimplex just
So
gonna
you
get
are-
his air factory now.
So you always make that tank, or maybe, or I guess a lab is more common than a tank, or maybe an RT if you're. That's not really common, but you know what I mean.
Another
And
bomber.
also, what's also important, of course, it provides intel for your air, and it denies your enemy intel as well.
And just gonna casually come in here, get 4. No, only 2 kills.
Just two, but that's good enough. He's just gonna permanently send bombers there.
It works. I mean, he damaged the P-gens. Why not? And Yudi just has more NGs. Like, if we do a quick NG count, Grimplex is chilling at 20 engineers, and Yudi is at 35.
What is funny to notice is that Grimplex has more factories than UD does.
I mean, that is a real advantage. I mean, Grimplex
Yeah.
is sitting at 17 tanks to UD's 3.
However, it comes at the cost of having 300 less power income and also like 30 less mass income.
Bomber gets picked up without it dropping. Small wins. Small wins. So the question is, can Grimplex do something with his early tank advantage? And on Crazy Rush, that's a big ask.
Okay, so since Grimplex didn't veto UEF, I wonder what UD's plan is with this air factory he's rushing to the right of his mixes.
I couldn't possibly expect anything
Exactly.
less. Oh, look at this. This is
Like-
mean.
There is a reason why Aeon is the worst faction in Crazy Rush, and it's not because like of like the negatives. It's more like the things you don't have compared to the other factions. In this case, UEF has Janus. They are massively OP on Crazy Rush. That's why it's the best faction. Second faction, Sarah, because Bobo spam, especially on the normal Crazy Rush, is strong. Crazy Backtrack, probably little strong because you have more room to micro your armies. So Phobos will be less damage, but also you have the strongest shields. You basically have the strongest RT base you can make, which is very important in Crazy Rush. You still have the snipers, and you have an Awasa. Awasa sounds a bit far-fetched, but if the game goes beyond minute 15, you can almost always rush an Awasa in like a minute because of how much mass you're on.
Yeah, but UD's being attacked on like 3 fronts right now, and target priority NGs are gonna do serious damage to UD's scaling.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice raid, I'd say. It's not not gonna do any critical damage, but it's gonna be annoying enough, right? It's gonna kill engineers. Like even if a raid like this only kills 2 engineers, it's still worth it. It'll make a mess out of UD's base, which you don't want to have happen.
Yeah, tanks are pulled back. It's a mess now, and UD's scaling has been slightly disrupted, which is what Grimplex really needs to do. He is desperate to deal that sort of damage. But the problem is T2 P-Gens now being rushed up in parallel. And
Yeah,
we will
and
see Janus.
okay, there's the Tech 2 lands from Grimplex that just finished. It's a bit late, but I guess he did get bombed quite badly, so that kind of makes sense. The thing is, his Tech 2 land is in quite of a bad position because the Tech 2 engineers that he gets from it, like, he can't like easily make a lot of Tech 2 power around that, and when you upgrade it to Tech 3, he doesn't have room for Tech 3 power either. So in Crazy Rush, what I would like to do is, or what I think is very important, is you want to have your HQ separate from the rest of your production. Like what Judy did with his air factory. He already had an air factory, but he didn't upgrade that onto Tech 2. He just made a separate one that had lots of room around it, so but by the time it finishes, you can plonk down Tech 3 easily.
And here comes the The attack. UD just has so many units, and they're just going to walk into Grimtex's base. The T2 PDs are not up or really anywhere. Some emergency T1 PD will be constructed, but can he defend everything?
Yeah, I don't think so. This is already gonna be very rough for him. He will be able to hold this, but his base is gonna be quite a mess. And the Janus production is gonna be out very soon.
They're already under construction. I mean, yeah, it looks like he'll hold in the interim, but no T2 Pigeon up yet. And this is another just massive mess. Everything is disrupted. UD actually going to get scouting intel on the T2 Pigeon, which is very nice to have. But he's going to lose a lot of units into the PD to the extent that that matters.
He loses units to PDs, but it doesn't really matter. The Janus will just win the game for him.
Yeah, there's really no answer to the Janus. I mean...
those won't even win the game for him. If you look at the Ink Mass income, that alone tells a different story as well.
Yeah, don't look at the scoreboard. It's a very even game, I promise.
I mean, did expect it, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm just a bit shocked at the lack of a veto.
Yeah, me too. This is definitely a map you would veto versus UD. Like, I understand spanning 20 kilometer maps versus UD, but the thing is, there are still 20 kilometer maps that are, like, if they are more ladder focused 20 kilometer maps, then, you know, that's like, quite a lot of them have like some tricks to them. Like Pelagial, for example, it's a 20 kilometer map, but it's not really like a 20 kilometer map that makes you shine, let's say, right? It's not like a big macro 20 kilometer map.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Emerald Crater and all the maps like that. It's just...
And there's plenty of tricks, you know? You can calm drop, you can do all sorts of naval shenanigans. There's definitely ways to win Pelagial.
And funnily enough, for quite some time, or at least like a year ago, a pretty big weakness of UD was that his early game on some 20 kilometer maps was quite bad, from what I remember. But like he didn't do like the right moves, like the smart moves. Like the macro aspect is fine, but
the Janus show up.
Yeah.
Not even interested in continuing on. Everything's dead.
Half his mages get deleted on the first pass, yeah.
And it's GG. I mean, it was incredibly brave picking Crazy Rush, or letting UD pick Crazy Rush.
It was almost